Joanne Corley-Schwarzkopf here once again, and today we're going to be talking about the Pareto's Principle. Very popular, particularly in time management, productivity. It's another way it's known is the 80-20 rule, and today we're going to talk about what it is and why it should matter and why the heck should you care about it. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the Pareto's Principle is originated from an Italian economist whose name was Vilfredo Pareto. And he came up with a concept that 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. Now that might sound, a wee bit, complicated, and we'll talk about how to break that down here in a second. But that was originated from a study he did on income distribution, where he found that 80% of the wealth was held by 20% of the population. And that particular formula for observing human behavior and distribution of a lot of different things has permeated in various fields of economics, business, time management, and personal development, which is what we are working with and focusing on today. So that might sound all a little bit complicated, but I want to break it down into a couple easy to understand examples. Here's an example. Most people, and let's say particularly women, only wear consistently 20% of their wardrobe. And most kids only play with 20% of their toys. So those are great examples of the 80-20 ratio. So now let's look at how that fits into time management and productivity and why this is such an important principle in our overall lives. When we look at how we want to be more productive or how we want to spend our time, first of all, working with the premise that time is your most important personal asset. Time is your life, and which I talk about in the Time Coach. And what we're looking at here is if the 80-20 rule is to be applied, that means that where does my effort go and what does it apply to? So is my energy and effort going to the most important things, or is it going to the least important things, and how do you break that out? Okay, so let's take the Pareto's Principle and apply them to three particular areas: time management, professional personal development, and also to life management. Okay, so when we look at it from a time management perspective, you want to look at what are you prioritizing, because you want to know what matters most. You have to identify the vital few aspects that contribute to your desired outcomes, because that's where the phrase "we want to work smarter rather than harder" comes in. Because in essence, and this is interesting to think about, we can actually achieve better results with less effort. Because I submit to you, a lot of our effort and energy is going towards things that don't matter as much. So it feels like we're putting out a lot of energy to accomplish a lot of things, and that effort, a lot of that is actually being wasted. Okay, let's look at personal development. When we are looking at how to get more with less, we want to look at the ability to focus on our strengths rather than on our weaknesses. So imagine already being strong in something and then actually strengthening it, which is actually going to compound the outcome. This is also a great tip for if you're a manager, and really sets the case for delegating. You're actually having a less return on the investment of time if you're using, or if you're not delegating and you're trying to do things that don't exercise your strengths. And then let's just look at life management overall. The question is, are you clear on what matters most overall in your life? And another important question is, are you clear on what the quality of life means to you? Have you defined that? Because you want to attribute and give that energy, those assets, to what you want most. If that's not clear, then your life is reactionary versus being intentional. And Pareto's principle is calling us to be intentional and to be more strategic in these areas of our life. and basically, how to use and deploy our most important assets. So, what's interesting in life management, time management, productivity, if people are not prioritizing, if they're not really clear, a lot of their energy is going to be spent on the least important things. And so we actually consider, you can use the Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, for even energy management. By the way, it's a great book written about energy management. So, why should we care about this? Because it's a way of us, it's a lens by which we can see our life and our work life, our productivity, and measure our effectiveness. Measure, am I using the most important assets to get the most important things done? What am I wasting that I could be using on something else? And that's really the value of the principle. I want to recommend that you take action. First, I think it's important that you build awareness about your life and then answer those questions about what's most important and how do you define quality of life. And, one of the tools that I have out now, and you can look at some videos about that, is the Time Coach. What the Time Coach does is it helps you build awareness. And it does that through tracking how you spend your time. So you learn about your life by how you spend your time. So you track it and then you assess it. Now you can do this certainly without the handbook. The handbook's just a 60-day setup for you, so that will save you some time to use it. So, in summary, the Pareto's principle gives you a point of view of how to honestly just get more of what you want. It's to eliminate the non-essentials. By the way, this is a great premise for minimalism, capsule wardrobes, small meals a day. It's just really a great lens by which to assess your life so that you can get more of what you want. So thank you, Vilfredo Pareto, for helping introduce us to the 80-20 rule and hopefully how we can improve our lives, have a better quality of life, and ultimately get more of what we want.